When you are getting ready to write your research paper, you're going to find that you have many ideas that you have written down. You have read books, you've read journal articles, you have surfed the internet and have collected quite a bit of information about a variety of issues within your chosen topic. It is very important that you organize these thoughts properly. Research papers are designed to help you demonstrate your ability to think critically by synthesizing the information from the different sources. So we want the paper to show that you have read thoroughly and have been able to put the pieces of what you have read together in an academic and intellectual way. Your paper should not read like an annotated bibliography. And what I mean by that, it should not say John Smith says or John Smith writes and then give me all the information about John Smith. And then next you say Robert Jones in his essay says, and then you give me all of Robert Jones' information. Then you move on to Bill Williams and you say, here's everything that Bill Williams wrote. And then here's Janet Oakes, and here's everything Janet Oakes had to say on this topic. Oh, and here's Bob Gruen, who says this as well. That does not show that you have synthesized, that you have put the information together in an intelligent and academic way. We want you to bring those writers' thoughts together and analyze them critically. So instead, your paper should be a compare and contrast paper of the author's views around a specific point. So instead of all of Robert's, all of Janet's, all of Bill's, and just working through there, you need to pick a topic and in a subject area within your topic and tell me about how those different writers describe or critique or analyze or recommend different interpretations. So it should look more like this. John Smith argues for a Trinitarian interpretation when he writes, and then tell me what he writes about a Trinitarian interpretation, perhaps of a specific passage, say in Ephesians or something. Then you write Robert Jones disagrees with this interpretation, writing instead that, and then give his reasons for disagreeing. Then you go on to say Bill Williams, Janet Oakes, and Bob Gruen concur with Smith's interpretation. Gruen, in his essay on Trinitarian theology, makes the most compelling argument for a Trinitarian interpretation when he writes. And then tell me what he wrote. And then your summary at the end. When these arguments are weighed against Scripture, the greatest support is for a Trinitarian interpretation. The Apostle Paul's consistent use of whatever, and you can describe that, indicates he has a pluralistic Godhead in mind as evidenced by, and again, Scripture and other evidences that you're going to include. And you can see that this is not a list, it is a comparison of the thoughts, who agrees with each other, who disagrees, and then in conclusion for this specific point, you tell me what you believe is the most compelling argument and how this should be interpreted or what should be believed or taught in this regard. Don't say I think. Instead say when the arguments are weighed or when everything is analyzed, this is the most compelling, this is the strongest argument. Avoid using the I think or I believe. Give me good evidence and base your conclusions on that evidence. So when you get to this, you're going to have points that you can use for your outline. You've already thought about this, or as you're building your outline, you can think about how am I going to organize it around specific thoughts. And so this is how your outline might look. Instead of, again, Roman numeral 2 saying the Trinitarian interpretation of Genesis 1 is affirmed by the Apostle Paul in various letters, and then A being Bob Gruen, and B being Janet Oakes, and C being John Smith, and D being Bill Williams, instead of just point after point after point, just being the person's name and what they wrote, your outline can show that you've already put these thoughts together. So You're going to be talking about Paul's approach to Trinitarian theology based on Genesis 1, or at least it affirms Genesis 1. You're going to use the introduction to Ephesians to show that, and then you get into the discussion. John Smith, in his 2017 article, that's what that means, writes about this particular view, and then you can complete that sentence. Robert Jones, in his 2019 article, disagrees with Smith's assessment, and here's why. The Greek verbs remain in the singular throughout. The notion of pluralistic Godhead is too polytheistic. Give me the points from Robert Smith and why he disagrees with Robert Jones, and why he disagrees with John Smith. Then move on to 3. Williams, Oakes, and Grun support Smith's conclusion. And then a 4th point is Grun writes a compelling argument for Trinitarianism, and then give me the points for that. You can see in this example, this is just one small little point of a 20-page paper, if you're doing M17, that shows that you have synthesized and brought the information together, have analyzed it, and have made decisions about what these passages mean. So in short, by organizing your opposing arguments around a single issue, you demonstrate the ability to think critically and write analytically. And of course, that's what we're trying to achieve in graduate level work, especially M17 in particular. You have 20 pages to show that you can organize and analyze and write analytically. It's a big task, but if you'll organize around issues and not just give me list after list after list after list of people that you've read, you will be way further ahead in your writing and will do much better on your essay. So keep this organizational approach in mind as you develop your outline, because that's what I and any professor will be looking for, a good organization around single issues, and then organize the entire paper in the same way. Good luck with your course and writing your next paper.